Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, children of all ages, welcome to another day in the life of your friendly neighborhood sin merchant. Today is January, what is today? The 12th, January 12th. I am working on a project. Uh, it's late in the day, too. It's like 5 o'clock. It's 5 o'clock. It's the end of a normal day. But I've had a very busy day today. Been doing some stuff. This, my friends, is the unboxing that I wanted to fire off today. And this is the project. This is the thing that, what on earth could it be? Well, first, let me tell you, you know what, let's take a quick look around. Let's see, do we have anything to show off today? Do we have anything we can show off today? We don't really have anything to show off today. Everything's pretty much the same as it was before. Oh, but I can show you this. Check this out. Over here. Ta-da. This. I'll bring my microphone with me so you can hear me. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. All right, so what we've got over here, the microphone work? Yeah, so look, check this out. This wall right here, this is the bar. This is where the bar is going to be set up. This space behind me is the bar space that we'll be at. You can't see it. The space right here behind me is the bar space of shelves, glassware, all the stuff around here. This is the actual bar. This is where we will be preparing, where we have been preparing drinks for our Saturday afternoon open house days at the distillery. This corner over here, this section here, at one point in the very near future, this camera right here will be posted. Let's move you closer if we can. Rotational forces. Might be posted right about here. Take a look at that angle. It'll be posted somewhere close to there. Not pointed at the ceiling. Be somewhere close to there. Probably higher up on the wall. And that is pointed almost directly. Let's see, that is right about where the stage, what happened? What happened? We lost the video connection. What happened? What happened to the video connection? Uh-oh. Oop, wrong camera. Come on. All right, I thought I was going to get useful here, but it did not work. Let's get you back over here. Ah, shit. I've been having computer problems. There we go. Got it fixed. Anyway, so the exciting thing was going to be showing the tasting room and how we have it all set up. But apparently jiggling around the camera was bad for the video and screwed the camera up. So we're not going to be doing that. We will have a high quality camera posted up on the wall, pointed towards the stage for the shows. We're getting everything put together. Slowly but surely, steadily, one little piece at a time. Things are coming together. Things are coming together. That was like that's what they would say for the postman, right? Things are getting better. Things are getting better. A little bit every day. Things are getting better. Let's see here. Subscribe today. Yeah, let's do that one. Let's run that one across the bottom. All right. I should do another conflict of nations, or conquest of nations. I should do another one of those. Anyway. Okay, time to show off the project that I've been working on. Project I've been working on. Check this out. The unboxing. Put it down here. What in the hailfire is that? I'll show you. Be patient. I'll show you what it is. It's substantial. That much is true. And gotta admit, this is actually the second time I've opened this up. That is a, what is that? Can you see that? Yeah, you can see it when it's in the light. Look at that. Styrofoam. What is that thing? That is a good question. Well, y'all saw me working a few weeks back when I was working with the tool stamper, the stamping tools on my stamping plate there. So that is, you see that? This is the outcome of a little project that we've been working on. Can you see that? Can you see it? That is for the Humble Whiskey Club's. A little bit blurry. It's having trouble focusing. Let's see if we do this. Have it focus up close. Can you see that? There it is. Humble Whiskey Club stamp. That's what it is. That's what it is. So what does that mean? What does that do? That's a good question. I'm using it to stamp copper medallions. You see that in the light? There it is. HWC copper medallions. So these copper medallions are going on our rye bottles that are the Humble Whiskey Club barrel picks. And how, pray tell, does that work, old humble guy? I hear you asking there in the background. Well, if you recall, from a few weeks back, I had been testing processes where I was taking my tool stamps here and stamping the copper using my trusty ball peen hammer, putting in a nice indentation. You can see that. That was an A. That's on the dull side of the copper. This is the polished side of the copper. That's the dull side of the copper. I actually made Christmas gifts for my lovely wife and adorable sons. I made using these copper blanks here. I made some bookmarks for them. So I have one more copper blank left. They're basically, this is a copper blank that's basically for a bracelet. And I used it to make bookmarks for my boys. One of them said, I read after bedtime. The other one said just one more chapter. Anywho, so this is the copper blank copper. Now this, I found out, is a little bit too light of a hammer for this particular application because this stamp is not as, it's not as sharp like the inside parts of this. See it again. Can you see that? The inside parts of this are not quite as sharp as the tool stamps for the letters over here. So I'm going to move the microphone just a little bit further away because it's loud. I gotta smack the shit out of this thing. That was the chair. All right. Now the stamp has a mark on it here to tell me where the front is, but it really doesn't matter because I'm not putting letters in a row. There we go. And that, my friends, polish it up a little bit there. There you go. Now you can't really see that. Hey, pigskin. Toss that in the box. Let's try one more time. I got to make sure that the stamp doesn't move when I hit it. It's loud. I'm sure it's just crushing y'all's ears. Yeah, so turn the sound down just a little bit, I imagine. There we go. Did that come through? Can you see that? That does not come through very well, does it? Well, I mean, the light is just shit. You gotta trust me. Looks good. So this is my project for the day. Making sure we get my stamps on. I want to do. See, can we? I want to figure out a way to. Cheers, tuna. Right here, tuna. This is. Let's see if I can get a good light on this, so it'll glow up nicely. You see that proper? Yeah, that's better. It's okay. The resolution of the camera is not great, but it is looking, I mean, from this angle, from my side, it looks great. And on the bottle itself, here it is. I will send this picture to my, oops, wrong one. Okay, send this to me. Pick two. This is what we're going to see on the shelf. This is an unenameled one. This is one that doesn't have the enamel on it, but so the next step in this process is actually to take an enamel pin, etch the ridges on this so that it becomes sharper in the indentations become sharper, is what I'm trying to say. Make sense? So yeah, this is pretty much what I'm doing for the next 2 hours here. I'm going through about 200 of those. Where's my man Tuna? Cheers, Tuna. Cheers, Pigskin. Give me back to mail. My computer's been acting up all day long today. And it is frustrating as hell for your computer to be acting up. There's not really anything you can do about it. When it's doing it, you just have to kind of put up with it. There we go. Download and pick. This is what it's going to look like on the bottle. when, you can see that one. Pick 2. We have tomorrow's show set up. The happy hour show. Brand. Overlay. There it is. There it is. Boom. There it is. So the Humble Whiskey Club, Barrel Pick, HWC is their logo. That's what's going to be on the bottles on the shelves. And this is the culmination of the project that I started just before Christmas when I got those stamping tools. These just to prove that it can be done and it wasn't going to be too much of a hassle to go through all this. Now, what I probably should have done is not had the circle on here, but I think the circle kind of gives it good, a very good definition. I'm going to try the smaller hammer one because I may be able to get a little bit more momentum in. Yeah, nice. Smudges it a little bit every time the die comes up and moves. It smudges it a little bit because it doesn't come back down in the same spot. So what I need, I think what I actually need is an even heavier weight to come down and just hit it one time. So instead of a 1 pound hammer, what is this, 16 ounce? This is a 1 pound hammer. This must be a 2 pound hammer. Instead of a 2 pound hammer coming down, like a 35 pound weight, just come down and smack the piss out of it. What do I have in here that's really super heavy? Aha! This one ought to do the trick. That ought to do it. Set my dad's ball peen hammer aside. My trusty mallet. Nice and squared up. Oh yeah, that's beefy. Good definition. That's nice and pretty. Y'all see that from there? It's just the resolution on this camera is shit. My wife's calling. You see it? Yeah, it's a little bit. It's just blurry. Now, let's change cameras real quick. Switch cameras to my HP camera. But now, yeah, that's holy shit, that's a much better camera for this particular project. There it is. Look at that. Humble Whiskey Club Barrel Pick. There it is. So that's what it's going to look like on the bottles. And when I do the etching, you gotta look at my big old dumb face. When I do the etching, right now I'm just doing the etching with a Sharpie. But it'll work. So wipe the wet Sharpie off with a paper towel to give it a little bit more definition. But the ink gets down into the grooves. ink gets down into the low parts and the grooves, and then offsets, or brightens rather, or darkens the design. And it's a very subtle difference that it does. Very subtle darkening, but it's pronounced enough. Oops. Oops. It's pronounced enough that it really sets it off. Makes it much better to see. Yeah. You can see down there where it says, where the pick is nice and bright. So this was an imperfect etch, but it's better than what it was. Not etching, but I'm thinking that's not the word I'm looking for. That's enameling, maybe. Anyway, something like that. So yeah, that's better. A little bit better, at least. Something you can see much nicer from a distance, or at least the medallion sitting on the bottle on the shelf will be visible from a distance, and then they have to step up and look closer. And that's kind of the point. I want people to look closer at the barrel pick from the Humble Whiskey Club. We'll give this thing one more smack-a-doodle here. My Thor hammer. Where's it at? There it is, see? Humble Whiskey Club. HWC official barrel pick 2021. And that's a good hammer to use, too. So I'm going to switch back to this shitty camera. It's not a shitty camera. I should be mean to my own fucking camera. It's just has trouble focusing. It's got little ADHD problems. All right. My wife called me while I was talking, so I'm going to message her back. We have repair crews working on the house right now. Fixing the mess left over from the busted pipe up in our attic. I don't know what the problem is. All right, let's see what my lovely wife wants. But tomorrow's show, we're going to be talking about immortality, which would be a fun one. I told Lisa what the topic was going to be. This thing's a mess. There. There. Looks a little bit nicer now. Better for TV. All right. My lovely wife will be home around 6:30. I'll be wrapping this up in about 30 minutes. My hands are filthy now. All right, let's get a good. We're going to get through the rest of this. All right. I just whacked the piss out of my leg. That hurt. Nicely done. Nice. All right. Anyway, so the show tomorrow night is going to be about immortality. I told Lisa the topic a week ago after our last show, something that's it's been on my mind off and on, but I really like the format of our show last week where we kind of had our opening nonsense that we do. Fire in the hole. 3, 2, 1. Nice. I think I only need to hit it 3 times though. And we had a nice little 30-minute conversation about some dumb topic. I don't even remember what we talked about last week. Community standards. We talked about community standards. And then went on to Unhinged, then went on to upcoming events and things like that, and wrapped up the show. I liked that format. I liked how it worked out. It's perfect. And then the rest of these blanks out of here. And I think that's how we're going to do things. We're going to have a topic. I'll tell her about the topic a week in advance. She'll think about the topic, and then we'll discuss. Hopefully, we'll take opposite sides, a pro and a con, or different views of the same topic, so that we're not just preaching to the choir. Look at this. Switch cameras real quick. Switch to the HP camera here. This. See, this, look at the die came up a little bit. So it's a dual impression on this thing. Kind of fucked that one up a little bit. They're not all perfect. Some of them, most of them are. I'll be able to filter down some of them. I'll get better at it. That's why I wanted this heavier mallet, so I could just use Task Force Genuine Hickory. Look at that, Genuine Hickory. And I realize that I am one of the people who pronounces hickory with 3 syllables. Set the die. 2 smacks. That is absolutely perfect. Into the box. Perfect. Actually, I probably, looks like I had the die a little bit on the edge on that one. Maybe I could try that on purpose. No. Yeah. That worked. But I think if I just smack it good and solid. I'm worried about hitting my hand. I don't want to smack my hand with this thing. Anyway, what was I saying? Next week, so this week we're going to talk about immortality. Next week we're going to talk about space stuff. We're going to actually have our science advisor back on the show. Tanya Rogers for the first time since the last time. When I guess the last time she was on the show, I did that dumb Pocky Chip challenge. Now she'll be back. We'll be able to talk about space stuff. There's a lot of space stuff that's going on. The James Webb Space Telescope has been deployed, fully deployed too. It's they've successfully deployed the space telescope. It's been completely deployed all the way out. Now it just needs to get into position in Lagrange point, whatever the hell that thing is. And Tanya will be able to explain that to us. Oh, Bumble guy, what on earth are you doing back there? I'm trying to look at the dystopia camera. Polish it up a little bit, clean it up, make it a little bit presentable. I mean, it just looks like crap. I need a bench grinder. To do this stuff. There we go. That looks a little bit better. Look at that. It's a much better looking hammer now. What I was saying is I need a bench grinder to be able to do this stuff. Now, see, it's just a better looking hammer. That's really what's important, is that your tools look good. This is a 3-pound hammer, I presume, since there's a 3 on the bottom. Wally. There you are. The distillery dog is in the house today. Say hi, Wally. Wally, come here. Back here. Over here. Over this side. Come. Sit. Sit. Look up. Say hi. There you are. Who's your good boy? Who's your good boy, huh? Yes, sir. All right. Back over here. Back to work. All right. 3-pound hammer. Whacking the shit out of the thing that we need to whack the shit out of. 3, 2, 1. That is a nice one. Can't tell from that angle. That camera has poor resolution. Actually, it's a good resolution camera. The problem is just that it has bad time focusing on it's a omnifocus. I need a better camera. The next order of whiskey that I sell will be the whiskey that sets up our studio inside the distillery. A good camera, good lights, all that stuff. Nice. That's a double shot. Probably about 10% of these I'm fucking up. Probably more than that. It's 24 in this batch. I probably messed up 3 of them. Hello. We got a little friend visiting us here. Hello, little friend. Say hi to everybody on the YouTubes. Hello. Hello. I'm missing a leg, little man. Time to go. He was underage. Nice. I have at home a splitting wedge that I could probably, in fact, I have a axe head from a splitting maul that I could probably rig up to lift and drop. And that thing's probably 5 pounds. Of course, I also have a 35-pound dumbbell. Which may be very much overkill of dropping 35 pounds. Cheers. Of dropping 35 pounds onto the tool die or the tool stand. So I've done 48 of these so far. Some of them look better than others. This is one that has the etching on it. It's hard to see it with this camera. You definitely can't see it from a distance, but if I take one of these, here's my knife. If I take one of these and affix it, drinks bring back all the memories. Memories bring back memories, bring back your. See, the idea is not necessarily for them to be able to see the Humble Whiskey Club etching from a distance, but for them to be able to see the medallion from a distance, which you can definitely see that medallion from a distance. Those are CrossFit guys, by the way. So you can see that medallion from a distance, and you see that medallion, you're like, oh, what the hell is that? And that's exactly the point. I want people to go, oh, what the hell's that? Because I can also get a gold one, a gold stamp. This is a brass. This is brass that from a distance, of course, looks gold. Polish this bad boy up. Polish that up nice and purty. Okay. Has a nice gold color to it. And for my special reserve, which is a gold medal winning whiskey, put that gold medal medallion on these guys. London International Spirits Competition, gold medal winner. And see, this one has the, can you see that? This one has the Humble Whiskey Club stamp on it as well. But I didn't like the size of the stamp. I like the 1 inch rounds, or half-inch rounds better than the 1 inch rounds. I just need to get these things etched in properly so that people will be able to. I think the etching it'll be nice and subtle enough for people to be able to see it from a distance, or at least be able to see it in lower lighting. That'd be kind of cool. I think. So I got 30 more minutes before I want to shut this down. So that is what I'm going to do, about 30 more minutes here. We also talked to, this is a very exciting development. I'm not going to have the band this weekend like I hoped I would. So it's going to be a pretty quiet Saturday, literally and figuratively. But I will, come on. There. With a little bit more exposure to these ridges here. Stay here. The CrossFit girls are talking to Wally. He's getting very curious. Sit. Sit. You goof. I tell him to sit and he comes over and sees me. So they're talking to the dog from across the parking lot, but they're not going to come over and see him. You can come over and see him. You might get a free drink of whiskey. Let's angle you down. Can you see that? Yeah, okay. Scam from San Antonio. Hello? Hello? Yes, I'll be voting in the primary on March 1st. I believe it's Dutton, who I am leaning towards. I have no idea who she is. All right. Little bit of business there. Just a little bit. Good one. Keeper. Keeper. So yeah, next week we'll be talking about space stuff. This week the band fell through. We're not going to have a band on Saturday, but I did have a meeting with a promoter, and we will be doing mini music festivals at the Old Humble Distilling Company starting March 5th. We've got 2 of them scheduled. The goal is to do one every month. And those will be live streamed and broadcast on the YouTube channel every weekend, or every month. They'll be live streamed, and then we'll rebroadcast highlights each week we break down, each of the bands that plays, because it's going to go from 3 till 10 p.m. So we're going to have several bands playing. Over the course of the day. Several bands playing over the course of the day. And then we can break out each one of those bands for the show on Saturdays for the next several weeks, rather. So that'll be exciting. That'll be fun. That'll be exciting. It'll be a $15 cover. Your first drink's on us. So really $10 to watch the band, $5 for a drink. Although that's problematic on Eventbrite, because Eventbrite will not let me sell alcohol through their site. That's a bad one. I felt it shift. It's not bad. It's not terrible. So that'll be starting in March, which means I've still got to figure out how to do entertainment for all of February. That's going to be dreadful. Yeah, that's a good one. Anybody has bands that want to play, we've got a stage for you. Had a fun, well, I won't say it was fun. It was a nonsensical conversation with another one of these dadgum libertarian ding-dongs who living their little fantasy land of, everybody would just get along. I mean, I'm generally of the opinion that a civilized society doesn't need a police force to keep people in line. That's not what a police force should be used for. I mean, in a civil society, generally people just want to leave each other alone, right? I mean, it's not like laws are stopping you from stealing my car. You're not going to steal my car. I mean, whether it's legal or not, you're not going to steal my car. There's nothing stopping you from stealing my car. Or breaking into my house, or killing me, or raping me and my wife and kids and whatnot. Laws don't stop criminals from doing criminal activity. Right? Exactly. So like in a perfect society, in a perfect world, it's not like we need laws to keep law and order. Which begs the question, why do we have laws? To maintain law and order. We don't need to maintain, I mean, if we're a civil society, right? I haven't shown y'all one of these in a while. Here, take a look. This is what we're doing. Grab a different one that looks a little bit better. This is a good one. Different camera. Take a gander. There it is. Hold it up right. Humble Whiskey Club barrel pick medallions. These are going on the bottles. And the bottles with the medallion on looks like this. I'm actually breaking a sweat doing this. It's cold here. It's well, it's not warm here. Let's put it that way. It's cold. It's cold enough. It's probably. Hey Siri, what's the temperature outside? I'm going to guess 60, 65.
It's 57 degrees outside.
57 degrees outside. Thanks, Siri. Appreciate that. Look at this guy. Hey. Come here. Come here. Come say hi. Oh. All right, get over there. Scoot. The problem is, it makes me nervous when I'm swinging a hammer and his head's right there. He's not going to like that anyway. It's going to be noisy. Good one. Anyway, the argument was whether or not anarchism naturally led to monarchism. To which I said, of course, anarchism naturally leads to monarchism. I mean, one way or another, you're going to be governed by somebody. You're going to be ruled over. You're going to be governed by or ruled by, depending on the type of culture and the type of system. Ideally, you're going to be governed by something or someone. There's going to be a government. There's going to be some governance. Ideally, it will be governance and not being ruled. The difference in governance and ruling, governing and ruling, is that when you are governing, you have your authority is derived from the will of the people. When you are ruling, you are imposing your will upon people. And, proper civil society, you would expect governance over ruling. If you don't have a consent from the people, you're just ruling, passing down laws with authority based on nothing other than the fact that you have authority. But if you live in a country of laws, your government should govern and not rule. That's the gold standard of civic governance, right? Corporate governance is kind of ruling. Civic governance is governing. Your manager at the office doesn't govern. Your manager at the office rules. Corporate governance is ruling. Civic governance is governing. And the difference being whether or not the people you are governing over have say or authority in what you do as a governor or ruler. In a civil society, a civic governance, those under the authority of the government grant the government authority. They rule based on the consent of the government. The die shifted a little bit on that one. That's okay. Into the bucket you go. Anyway, so the notion being that anarchy leads to monarchism, which meaning a collective of people without centralized authority, which doesn't exist in real life. There's always some, even if it's there's always some kind of central authority, even if it's just one person. But this one has a hole in the top. Even if it's one person with the consent of the several, the monarch of England is the monarch of England because he was placed there by the nobles. And they have a constitution that actually does the governance. That one did not etch very well. That's okay. So the basic idea being, if you were in an anarchistic society, a bunch of tribes voluntarily minding your own business, voluntarily submitting yourselves to a compact, an agreement. The agreement becomes the governing authority. Somebody has to rule the government. Let's just assume that this fictional place exists. A compact of equals living together, understanding, minding their own business, not actually living together, minding their own business, whatever. It takes one guy who wants to take your shit. One guy who wants to take your shit, and then all of a sudden, you no longer have a collective of people loosely agreeing to abide by a compact and blah, blah, blah. Your anarchistic society breaks down immediately because one person comes in to your little farm where you've got your goats and tomatoes and whatever. And he says, I want all your shit. And you say, no. And then you show him your gun. And he says, okay. And he leaves. And he comes back with 3 people. And he takes you and he ties you up and he takes all your shit and he burns your shit down. He takes what he can and he burns down the rest. Kind of like a worst case scenario for Bluebell. Take what we can and we burn all the rest. And then, you go to your neighbor's house. So let's assume you survive the encounter. You go to your neighbor's house, you band together 3 or 4 people, and you say, we need protection. You band together 3 or 4 people, you all get y'all's guns, you go back and you shoot the guy, you take your stuff back, you build a new place, and then you say, you know what, we're going to put in some order here. And boom, your free society has broken down. It takes one person with a small army. He doesn't have to subdue everybody at the same time. Subdues one person at a time. He takes your shit, burns your stuff down. Goes to your neighbor's house, takes his shit, burns his stuff down. Goes to his neighbor's house, takes his shit, burns his stuff down. Next neighbor says, okay, I'll join you. So now he builds his army. Goes the next guy, says, by the way, I just burned everybody's shit down. They said, no, we'll join you. We'll give you some tribute. Whatever. Boom, you've got a king. Just like that. That's how quickly it breaks down. It doesn't take much effort. You don't have to subdue the entire village. You don't have to subdue all the people. You just have to subdue the first one. And then the second one. You don't have to subdue them all at the same time. They either join you or they die. And either way, it works out good for you as the budding dictator / monarch because either your army grows or your opposition weakens. And that's all it really takes. You either grow your army or you weaken the opponent. There's really no other third option. Each individual is an opponent. There's no single opponent that is larger than your 3 or 4 people that you assemble and continue to grow. And very, very quickly, your collective of free tribes is destroyed and been replaced by either people clamoring for a king, like in the Bible, or people subdued by a king. And it doesn't take a whole lot of time for it to all break down. That is like literally the historical growth of monarchism out of tribalism. and anarchism. But this guy just could not comprehend, could not understand. Because he kept saying, but the people have guns, they can defend themselves. Well, yeah, with guns you can defend yourself. Until somebody comes along with bigger guns, or more guns. Or use their guns before you can get to your guns. Then what? Because you can't always have your guns available. I mean, you got to sleep, right? You got to eat. Oh, maybe you have somebody on guard. Hey, Bacon, cheers. Maybe you have somebody on guard 24 hours a day, 2 or 3 people on guard 24 hours a day. But now you've got to organize out of some loose collective. Check it out. This is what I'm making, Bacon. This is what I'm making. Here is the camera angle that you need to see what I'm doing. Humble Whiskey Club barrel pick medallions. These are going to go on bottles. Switch back to our primary camera. These are going to go on bottles, on shelves in our northern market. And they are going to look like so. Ta-da! Right there on the bottles. And this is the 3-pound mallet that is doing the trick. Nice. And these are copper blanks. And I may do the same thing with some brass blanks if I can find brass blanks that are the same size. Anyway. And this mallet is a 3-pound mallet. So I've done it with the 3-pounder, the 2-pounder, and the 1-pounder. Each one of these does the trick. The 1-pounder, of course, it's lighter and easier to swing. And this works great for the letter tools. For letter stamping, this worked great for that. This was actually a little bit too heavy for the letter stamps. Put too much of an indentation. The letter would go too deep in, and I'd get the indentation from the circle from the tool that it was on. But this being a much wider base, this is doing the trick. Those would do the trick with this, but the problem was I'd have to smack it like 2 or 3 times, 6 times to be exact. And every time I hit it, the risk of it shifting just a little bit, almost imperceptibly, shifting just a little bit increased. And every time it increased, or every time it shifts, then you get kind of a double stamp. And it looks like a smudge. And that's not good. I don't want it to be smudged. I want it to be like just like that one. That's a smudge. It just looks like shit. Yeah, I mean, you can see it. You know what it is. It just looks a little janky. And I may kick those out or keep them in the distillery and not get them out in the stores. I want nice crisp lines, or mostly crisp lines. And that's the last one I'm going to do tonight. I want the nice crisp lines so they can see what they got. Now, 1 second while I come over here. I do have brass blanks, which are a little bit softer than the copper blanks. That's terrible. This is a used blank. It's not so good. Try this one. This one's used, but it was. This gives a fairly good. This was with the. This side was with the. Let's flip cameras here. This side was with the 1 pound hammer here. That was the 1 pound hammer. Oops. See if I can feel the difference. Yeah, this was the 1 pound hammer. This is the 3 pound hammer. You can't really see the difference. I can feel the difference in the depth of the indentation. This side over here with the 3 pound hammer obviously is deeper. A little bit deeper groove. So I may do some brass ones along with the copper ones, but the copper looks really good on the bottom. The copper on that green looks real good. You can see it from a distance. You can't necessarily see the wording on it, not yet at least. I'm going to etch in. Here's one that has some of the enameling on it already. Switch cameras one more time. For some reason, the HP camera has better close focus. So you can see with the enamel addition, you can see where the lines are a little bit sharper versus one without. Put them side by side. See, this one has the enameling in it. This one you can see it in the light when I angle it, but this one you can see. So that's going to be the next step in the process. Is going to be coating them all with that enamel and then polishing off, putting a light polish on it to get the top part off that enamel. This one is aluminum plank. This is aluminum, which is even lighter metal. You see that aluminum is even lighter than both of those, and it takes the etching really, or takes the indentation really, really well. And maybe that's what I should do, is take the aluminum. Now, there's also an option of going to just taking a copper and hitting it with some heat, softening it up a little bit. That's a possibility. I don't want to, because that's a whole nother step in the process. But if I soften it up a little bit, it might take that. Do I have a acetylene torch in here? If I have an acetylene torch, it'll be over here. But I'm pretty sure I took my torch home. Yeah, I did. My torch is at the house. Not generally a good idea. It's not generally a good idea to have fire in a distillery. I mean, you can imagine why. We have alcoholic beverages, which are extremely flammable. So it's 6 o'clock. My lovely wife is going to be home in about 20 minutes. I am going to be joining her at home. Yeah, that's a possibility. If I can soften up that metal, Maybe it'll take the stamp a little bit better. I don't know. We shall see. We shall see. Anyway, cheers. It's been a pleasure. We'll do another day in the life next week. I've got a couple more projects that I'm working on. I've got to finish these. I'll fix them to the bottles. We're going to have another bottling day coming up very soon, and I need to make my rice whiskey wash. We have our happy hour show tomorrow night. Big announcement for upcoming live shows at the distillery and live shows on the YouTube stream. The Old Humble Mini Music Festival is going to be lit as fuck. That's it. Bye.